Hi, I'm Daniel Crick. I'm part of customer services. My job role is to be a development officer within the team. My main job responsibilities are working with data, working with our team systems, and just sort of managing the day-to-day data side of things. So within customer services, we manage data for kind of multiple methods of contact. So we've got sort of online forms, phone calls, and face-to-face interactions. Obviously, we deal with customers in a variety of different ways. Um, and we've had a kind of, well, we have a sort of continuous mission statement of how can we improve the customer's experience. So there's numerous factors that come into that. And one of the main things that we've found recently was that customers were unhappy with the length of time they were waiting when trying to get through to one of our customer service advisors on the phone. Um, so some sort of background on the way the phone system works. The phone lines are split into queues based on the options. And so we give you options when you phone up. You'll choose option 1 and 2 and 3. And then within that, there's often sub options to get you through to sort of specialist advisors that are skilled in each inquiry type. So we have the ability to access all of the data behind which options those customers choose. So we've got full control over the call options in the system, and we're going to adjust these as necessary to sort of improve the customer's journey where possible to try and make things easier to get through to the right sort of people. To do this, we identify the queues that have the highest and lowest footfalls. We also attempt to determine the types of calls coming through on those queues, so we can potentially split the queues down to make them more specific, or group other queues together, just to ensure the customer is directed to the best place for their queries to be answered. So that often means staff retraining in certain areas or moving certain sort of specific inquiry types to different phone lines, just and a little bit of training in there too to give us just the best spread. So to sort of decide on how we do that, like I say, we take the kind of highest and lowest footfall totals, look at the inquiry types that are coming through. We also look at the phone system statistics. We get loads of data through our phone system, which includes kind of call handling times, staff awaiting call time, so how long they're waiting before a call comes through, if when we get those quiet spells. And what that allows us to do is determine where our resources can be best utilized. So we can make sure that staff are answering calls as efficiently as possible and still delivering the best service, even though we are trying to be as quick as we can there. So just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that we've done in 2022, based on the weekly reports that we put together, we averaged around 150 seconds to answer a call. So customers, after choosing their options through the phone system, they want to speak to somebody about their council tax, they choose option X and then option Y, and they were waiting for 2.5 minutes after that on average to get through to an advisor. So from there, obviously, we've looked at the data, looked at where we can make some reasonable adjustments, and the changes that we've implemented in the phone system itself, we've brought that average down to less than 1.5 minutes, and that's just so far in 2023. So we've answered roughly 250,000 calls in 2023 so far, and we've saved on average a minute on each of those calls as they're waiting. So to put that in perspective, it works out around 4,100 hours of customer time we've saved so far this year. For those who can't really put that into context, it's like watching a Harry Potter film series 210 times over. And it doesn't stop there as well. We're continuously looking to improve things. So we're always assessing those minor bits of detail, taking as much data as we can and finding new ways to present the data to our teams and to, the whole directorate, to try and get alternative perspectives and identify any further efficiencies, just to ensure that we're giving the customer what they need and as quick as we can with that, to make sure they get it when they need it too.
You've obviously put like loads of time into this, and you're like really passionate about it. So what's the most rewarding thing about what your role is?
I think we kind of do wider assessments a couple of times a year, where we'll take kind of all of the data and collate it and then make some sort of, we kind of put together a sort of end of period assessment. And when we do that, it gives me a chance to really go through and look at where we were a year ago to where we are now. While that isn't always perfect, when it comes through, it's brilliant to see those numbers come down or up where we can. So we're able to answer more calls. We're able to give the customers, quicker responses. those kind of figures, just know that from the minute amounts of data that we provide on a daily and weekly and monthly basis, it has such a big impact to such a big service. I mean, customer services as a whole takes calls on behalf of most of the council. So to know that we touch most departments and most services, and then with that we're able to paint those services in a better light, because it's so rare that customers see us as a separate department. So when we can sort of paint ourselves in a lovely light and show how much of an impact we're having on other services and on the customer, it's really rewarding to see.